Thank you very much. I'm really delighted to be here this morning, and thank you very much, and thank Burdette for the invitation to come, and I will give this to your pastor. Whereas the Webster Groves Baptist Church, founded by Mrs. Lockett and Mrs. Whitis in 1913, is celebrating its 90th anniversary of serving the community, and whereas the church has been located here on Lockwood and Summit since 1914, and whereas the Webster Groves Baptist Church was one of the first churches to be incorporated in the state, and whereas the members of this Webster Groves Baptist Church are a vital part of the community through their participation in a variety of missions as well as other community activities, and whereas the Webster Groves Baptist Church is celebrating 90 years of faith, fellowship, music, and ministry. On behalf of the City Council and the City of Webster Groves, I want to congratulate the Webster Groves Baptist Church on your 90-year anniversary, and thank you for your service to our community. Thank you very much, Pastor.
Good morning and congratulations. Having been a co-chair of a 50th and 75th church anniversary, I know, Becky, what it takes to put one of these together. And so it is with great joy that I'm here this morning to bring a resolution from the state of Missouri. And I'm going to use the top two whereases rather than repeating things that will be repeated throughout the day, and then the resolved portion. Whereas the members of the Missouri House of Representatives wholeheartedly accept their responsibility to acknowledge momentous occasions in their histories of show-me state religious institutions, which have dedicated themselves to meeting the spiritual needs of local communities and neighborhoods. And whereas Webster Groves Baptist Church will celebrate the 90th anniversary of its establishment through a gathering of members and well-wishers on Sunday, October 26, 2003. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that we, the members of the Missouri House of Representatives 92nd General Assembly, join unanimously to applaud the stellar history associated with the Webster Groves Baptist Church and to convey to its pastor, the Reverend Dean Stewart, and congregation this legislative body's heartiest congratulations upon reaching the 90th anniversary of their spiritual institution's founding, and our best wishes for many more celebrated events to come.
Both of these ladies are busy ladies, have a busy schedule today, and we're going to excuse them. We're not telling them to leave, but they're busy ladies. And so would you give these ladies a hand of applause?
From the Psalm 34, verses 1 through 8. I will extol the Lord at all times. His praise will always be on my lips. My soul will boast in the Lord. Let the afflicted hear and rejoice. Glorify the Lord with me. Let us exalt his name together. I sought the Lord, and he answered me. He delivered me from all my fears. Those who look to him are radiant. Their faces are never covered with shame. This poor man called, and the Lord heard him. He saved him out of his troubles. The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him, and he delivers him.
Taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man who takes refuge in him. This is the word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
In 1913, Mrs. J.F. Lockett and Mrs. Dora Whitis visited Everett Baptist Church in Webster Groves and found 23 willing to meet on March 18, 1913 to discuss organizing a Baptist church in Webster Groves.
I about how the Democrats control both houses in Congress and the White House.
Well, I know what you mean. But when he said that nowhere else in the world had such noble men and women in such striking form shown such energy and beauty in the sympathy and helpfulness, I felt like he was challenging us.
You mean about the church?
Yes, I'm so nervous. Next week is going to be our meeting, and I have been knocking on doors all over Webster.
How many Baptists have committed?
Well, between you and me, I'm guessing about 20, maybe one or two more.
It's so exciting. Just think, in a week, we could have our very own church, or at least a Sunday school.
Yes, and if we do, we will be meeting in the Suburban School of Music. And I'm guessing that in another year, we will have doubled our numbers.
That's pretty wishful thinking.
That's not wishful, that's faithful.
Too true. But if the faith of a mustard seed is required to move mountains, what is required to build temples?
Well, as it says in Romans, that the message, faith is hearing the message, and that the message is the word of Christ. Maybe the simple act of sharing the message will give us the faith we need.
Let us pray that you're right.
The first officers were L.E. Stark, Superintendent, J.R. Black, Assistant Superintendent, Everett Pettingill, Treasurer, and Dora Whitis, the organist. The next Sunday, 21 persons began this work in the Suburban School of Music, which is now called Theater Guild of Webster Groves. By June of 1913, 40 persons attended. The growth and the interest made it apparent an organization was needed. And on June 20th, 1914, a council of churches of the St. Louis Baptist Association met and were presided over by Reverend S.E. Ewing, the St. Louis Baptist Mission Board Superintendent. After considerable discussion, the council unanimously endorsed the proposition to organize a Baptist church, and the church was born with 39 members. As a candle, once lit, may be used to light others, Webster Groves shared its light. Only 17 months after the church was organized, it sponsored the Overland Mission. In 1914, and that became the Overland Baptist Church 2 years later. Webster Groves held its 15th anniversary in 1928.
Oh, hello. Are you here for the anniversary celebration? Yep. 15 years we've been here at the Suburban School of Music. That's longer than I've been alive. Reverend Reader says that we have 650 members. He seems happy about this because when we started, we only had 39. It's kind of like last year when Charles Lindbergh flew over the Atlantic. Well, I mean, who thought that a plane built by the Wright brothers would end up with someone flying across the entire ocean? That's how it is with our church. I mean, who thought that 39 would become 650? God did for sure. He sees our potential when we don't see it ourselves. Reverend Reader says that Paul said, each man has his own gift from God. Well, I guess that's true with churches too. Well, happy anniversary.
Oh
Groves Baptist Church shared their faith, and gradually a building fund was provided. In 1938, the Board of Finance proposed a plan to raise $10,000. The financial campaign was a success. C.L. Thurston was an architect, and he was chosen to do the work, and the new sanctuary and the remodeled building were dedicated in February of 1941. Also, the Mother's Memorial Pipe Organ was presented to the church and later remodeled.
Hi guys, I got a letter from home. Dear Sam, I hope this letter finds you safe and sound. You are always in our prayers, and everyone here at church misses you, especially, I think, a certain young lady with reddish hair. Alright guys, calm down. Her name's Maggie. Besides, she's not the old type. She brought your last letter into Sunday school and shared it with us, and that is what prompted me to write. I know it gets lonely over there, and I know that sometimes it's hard to find God's will, but He's there with you. Rely on Him. Though I walk through the valley of shadow and death, I will fear no evil. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Come on, he is my preacher after all. Besides, y'all could use a little preaching. You're in our prayers, Sam, but more than that, you're in the prayers of every American Christian, and Jesus promised us that those prayers will be answered. As far as the church is concerned, the new sanctuary and remodeling are welcome additions, and we have a new pipe organ that will bring joy for a good many generations. I have a secret confession. Before we began work on the improvements, I sometimes wondered if it was good stewardship to go $15,000 in debt. When I see the results and see how everyone is contributing even in these days of war and rations, I am inspired by their faith and know it's God's will. I know what you're thinking, but no, I'm not hinting for a contribution. You just focus on keeping yourself safe and coming home so you can see how nice everything is. Maybe you and Maggie can take advantage of the new facilities, if I might be so bold. When you do make it home, I regret to say I will no longer be pastor. After 31 years, it's time for me to leave our congregation of 840 and let someone else share in their fellowship. Reverend Jerry White will assume the pastorate in September. I will miss each and every one of you. Well, it's time for me to wrap it up. We miss you, Sam, and look forward to your letters in return. God bless, Reverend Harold L. Reeder.
During Reverend White's leadership, the debt for the new sanctuary and remodeled building was paid, and the property adjacent to the church on the north was purchased and remodeled as a parsonage. Improvements were made throughout the church. An outstanding one was the refurnishing and redecorating of the church parlor by the Women's Missionary Council. After Reverend White stepped down in 1956, the church was led by three subsequent pastors, Reverend Gerald E. Young, Reverend G. Elmo Purvis, and Reverend Paul Smith, to its 50th anniversary in June of 1963. At this time, the membership was 591. The church sponsored its second mission church in 1964 in Butler Hill, which was constituted as a church September 14, 1969. This was almost 50 years after Webster Groves Baptist Church sponsored its first mission. The Butler Hill Church broke ground for its sanctuary on July 31, 1966. From then until 1988, the church was led by Reverend Darrell Atkins, Reverend R. Joe Brashears, Reverend Homer DeLozier, Reverend Philip Hotzebiller, Dr. William Slasik, and Reverend Jeffrey Van. In 1988, Webster Groves sponsored its third mission church, Glory Baptist Mission. Dr. Randy Dick and a congregation of 48 met at the American Legion Hall in Kirkwood, and Webster Groves Baptist became the mission sponsor. After a time, both groups felt that a merger was possible, and on January 28, 1990, the Glory Baptist Mission and Webster Groves Baptist Church voted to merge. The first joint service was February 4, 1990, and Reverend Dwight Jackson served as the senior pastor. About this time, Webster Groves Baptist Church became active in the formation of the Cooperative Baptist Fellowship and the Baptist Fellowship of Missouri. In 1996, Dr. Dennis R. Atwood became pastor, and during his tenure, Wendy McRoy became the first woman deacon in 2000. Since then, Ruth Ellsworth and Bernice Edmondson have also been ordained. Atwood emphasized the priesthood of the believer and initiated the formation of growth groups, which adopted specific areas of biblical or spiritual study. Atwood and John Post, music and youth director, left in 2003. Atwood went to Pastor Church, North Carolina, and Post went to Oklahoma, where his wife had been employed. Reverend Ardeen Stewart currently acts as interim pastor. When we look at the accomplishments of the church and the overwhelming good that resulted from the faith of these two women, we should ask ourselves, how much more can God accomplish through the faith of the many gathered here today?